Welcome to the Springs in the Desert podcast. We're those friends that you can take with you wherever you are on the path of infertility.
Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to the Springs in the Desert podcast. I am so excited for this episode because I have my favorite guest that I could ever have on this show with me today. It is the one and only Jesse Kubik, my husband. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good. Happy to be here.
Listeners, my husband has not yet been on the show, and I'm just really excited to come to you this week. It's NFP Awareness Week, and we're actually going to take a different approach today, and we're going to talk about how to connect with your spouse when charting feels like a chore, when it feels difficult to do. Jesse and I started our NFP journey in marriage prep like a lot of couples do. We started with the Billings method and wanted to learn more, just more about our health. And we, shortly after we got married, we experienced 2 miscarriages and wanted to know more about my hormones and wanted to know more about what the chart meant. And so we learned the Creighton method to get a little bit more information. But we also have not been charting for a while because it is challenging. We've been through all those seasons of charting and not charting and figuring out which method. And sometimes you just need to focus on your marriage. Sometimes you just need to focus on each other and having those intimate moments. And so I just hope that this episode is just encouraging. And so, Jesse, I just want to chat and I want to share with the community some of our favorite ways to interact, engage, and reconnect when some of the fertility and NFP and appointments and another cycle comes around without a pregnancy. When that gets challenging, what are some ways that we can connect? And so I thought we should start how all good things start with spiritually. Prayer is super important, of course, and I think the foundation of all good things. And so, Jesse, I wanted, maybe we can just start. What are some of your favorite ways that we pray? What are some of your favorite ways to pray, maybe individually, but as a couple too?
Yeah. As a couple, we're big on prayer for in the morning, especially before we go to work or whatever we have planned. It might be a simple prayer like in Our Father, or maybe it's a novena or something specific. But we are big on, especially in the evenings, every day we've been striving to say a rosary every evening. And there's so much power and beauty in a rosary. And some people may look at it as it takes too much time. But the more you do it, the quicker it goes, because you start to understand it more, pay attention to what's being said. And so something as little as that, starting your day off with prayer and ending your day with prayer. If we are able to do it in the middle of the day, that's great, especially individually. But as a couple, with going through all challenges of life, you need prayer. And even if it's hard, if you feel like it's not working, you pray. You pray more. Even if it makes you angry, even if it makes you sad, even if things aren't working out, you pray. And things will work out.
I appreciate that. I've also really enjoyed having a routine of prayer. I think the team at Springs in the Desert is the first to say that we too are on the path of infertility and loss. We're not experts on loss or infertility or this grief in any way. We don't claim to be that. And so I just want to say that my husband and I, we are there with you. We're there in the trying to figure out how to make prayer more of a priority. And we're with you when, as my husband said, prayer can make you angry. It can make you sad. It can bring you joy. But I think in all of those emotions, what underlies that for me is peace. That there's a routine that I know that I'm going to be able to connect with you, Jesse, in the morning, and I'm going to be able to connect with you in the evening. And that is, those are the bookends of our day. And I really appreciate that time together. And the other thing, which I think is where maybe we are working on right now, is making sure that routine happens regardless of where we are at physically. If we're at home, it's easy to do that. But if we're traveling or we have visitors over, maybe we're hosting people, is that like that still happens. And that I think inviting people into that is that's a great opportunity to invite family members or friends into that routine. But just I think for us, it's planning it out ahead is where we need to get at. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, there's always going to be things that come up and to try to delay you or prevent you from praying. That's life. You meet up with family, you go camping, you go to the lake, you have sporting events, you name it. And we typically pray at this time. And now we have this going on. So it's easy to skip it. But you got to stay consistent. And like you mentioned, invite them to join you. It's just like Mass. There's a lot of people in everyone's life that is probably not Catholic or is Catholic but doesn't go to Mass. But simple way to hopefully have them join is just inviting. And that can be as simple as prayer too. Just invite them no matter how challenging it may be or how busy your life is. Find time for prayer and stay consistent.
Yeah. And I think that it just reminds me of another piece of this is that prayer is, of course, such an intimate activity to do in the first place. So whether it's with your spouse, that will only increase the intimacy that you are experiencing together. But even with friends and family, if you're maybe struggling to invite them into your situation, wherever you are on this path, if you're wanting an avenue to share some of that with them, prayer might be a really great way, because maybe you have intercessory prayer as part of your routine. And so you can ask, does anyone have intentions? And you could just simply share for discernment, for patience, for a softened heart, or for joy amidst this waiting period, that you can share some of those intimate parts without maybe being so overt about it, but you can invite people into where you're at through prayer. So I think, just of course, an encouragement to pray, as you said, Jesse. I'd like to shift into kind of maybe some physical ways that you can connect with your spouse when charting feels like a chore. What are some of your favorite ways to be physically active together?
A big one for us is just going for walks. The gym is great. I love going to the gym, but sometimes that's not for your spouse or it's not for everyone or busy schedules. But going for a walk is not only just so healthy for you, it helps clear your mind and it reduces stress and provides clarity. And when things are hard in life, like infertility and you name it, even if you have a simple argument with your spouse, going for a walk together, even if you're arguing, can help. It really does help. But I encourage you, there's so many other things you can do physically together, you name it. But I'm the biggest fan of just going for a walk. There's just so many things you can talk about. You can reconnect, explore new things, new ideas. And so that would probably be my favorite.
Yeah, as you were saying that, Jesse, I was thinking about the act of contrition, which has a line that says that I promise to avoid whatever leads me to sin. And although that's said in a negative way, I think that maybe another way of saying what you just said is that trying to find ways to put you and your spouse in a situation that will lead you to intimacy, that will lead you to more communication and more activity, whether that's spiritually, physically, mentally. I think going for a walk is also one of my favorite ways. I personally have some difficulties with physical activity. I have scoliosis, and so that sometimes causes higher intensity activity to be a challenge for me, but walking it's typically a good way. It's a safe activity for me. And so I appreciate going on those long walks. And then we're in an occasion, we're in this situation where we can't really get home super quickly and we can't end the walk just on a moment's notice. We have a start and an end location, and we just have that time together to pray, to talk, like you said, to reconnect, to simply be in each other's presence, to dream, to set goals. I think it's such a great way to do that. And I think if I might add, for physical kind of activities, I love being able to dance in the kitchen. whenever we have some music playing and just grabbing a quick little dance together. Or sometimes we have a free Saturday or we're not doing anything and we just decide we're going to go travel somewhere. We're going to go see someone. And so we have some time in the vehicle that we can interact and then go do something fun, maybe in a neighboring town. So I like the spontaneous portion of physical activities. And I think we make a lot of memories both ways, that consistent walking and also in adventures. Yeah. Okay, I'd like now to chat a little bit about maybe some mental activities, ways that you use your brain and dream and think together and plan together. And do you have any kind of favorite ways of exercising our brains together?
Reading, that's a great way to just expand your mind, and it's relaxing, it's peaceful. But reading together, something that can help you grow, whether it's something spiritual as far as a book goes, or parenting, or goals or boundaries, you name it. I feel like reading in general, everyone should just put their phones down and stop watching TV and put the electronics down and just grab a book. And there's something about reading with your spouse. Because I'm a big fan of pausing and talking about what the sentence that we just read, or the chapter, or the paragraph, you name it. Because I always have a lot of questions when I read something that is nonfiction, and especially on the spiritual side, because I always have a lot of questions, like I'm sure we all do when it comes to our faith. But yeah, I would say reading. Just grab a book and grab your spouse's hand and find a corner of your house or go to a coffee shop and choose a book that's going to help you grow as a couple and help you grow as a family, or whatever your family status is at. Reading will help you grow.
I love reading. I would read all the time if I could. And I always have a stack of books that I'm currently reading and another stack of books that I can't wait to open. And I think just as you said, Jesse, that you love going to the gym and that really fills you up. And that's not always my favorite thing to do. I would say with reading, it's opposite. I love to read. It's not that you don't like to read. It's just maybe not your first choice. And so I think that's another way of when charting feels like a chore, to find a way to fill your spouse's cup and vice versa, to find things that you both enjoy and then maybe things that your spouse enjoys and trying them out and trying to just rejuvenate with little moments of intimacy that way. I would say to add to those or that conversation, I really listening to podcasts with you. We found all sorts of fun podcasts. We like true crime, and so we listen to that a lot. We like history, and yeah, we like finances and all spiritual Catholic teaching and all sorts of really fun podcasts that we've listened to. And it's always nice because if we're where we live, the listeners know, Jesse, that we're in North Dakota. And so to be able to get somewhere is typically a little bit of a drive. But even in places that are bigger cities, sometimes it takes just as long to get across the city as it does for us to get to the next town. And so it's nice to just pop that in and then talk about it and pause it. What do you think about that? And have you heard that before? And what does that mean? It's really nice to engage in conversation when maybe you're not in the education space anymore. When we were in college, maybe we got that a lot and it was just natural, but now it's not as handy. And I think that's so true, that you were talking about different family sizes and different seasons and just planting your feet wherever God has, if you are a family of 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever family size, right, that someone has, that whatever, if it is charting during this NFP Awareness Week, that becomes a challenge and it feels like a chore, just find the seeds that God has given you that you enjoy and put some water on them, grow them just a little bit, put them in some more fertile soil and find ways to nourish that. And I know just talking about this makes me want to do some more things with you, Jesse. I appreciate connecting in that way. Before we wrap up this conversation, I was hoping that this could be a quick rapid fire ideas of ways that couples can connect. And so before we wrap up though, Jesse, if for our listeners who are on the path of infertility or loss and are maybe in the midst of charting and trying to figure out if there's something diagnosable in the woman's cycle, or they're hoping that they'll be pregnant in this cycle, or they know maybe they're really having a hard time with NFP and charting, and all the stickers and the daily conversations about fertility can be hard. What advice might you have for them in general about reconnecting and just being together with their spouse?
Yeah, think back to when we were doing it, it was a lot and it was overwhelming, and you understood it a lot better than I did. So I was always asking, but just take it one step at a time. Ask questions when you have it. Try to find a community that is, doing exactly the same thing you are with charting, because there are those communities. You'll have a coach or someone that has probably taught you how to chart. Stay connected with them. But in this whole time of going through NFP and charting and you name it, communicate with your spouse and pray, and it'll get easier. And it's beautiful to understand what the female body does, what God has created. It's amazing. And coming from a male perspective, it really opens your eyes and really helps you appreciate your spouse and the beauty and the challenges and what the body can do. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And just take it one step at a time. Ask questions when you have it. Hold your spouse's hand. Say a prayer, and beauty will come from it. No matter what it looks like right away, God has a plan, and things will turn out great.
Man, I couldn't agree more. Jesse, thank you so much for joining me for this extra special episode. I love you so much. And listeners, I just want you to know that the whole team, we're here for you. We're walking with you wherever you are. If this week feels a little bit rejuvenating and you feel like you are ready to look at the chart again and you're just looking for some inspiration to connect with your spouse, I hope this episode is for you. And if you're really struggling with charting and it feels really tiresome, we're here for you. And I hope that the ways that Jesse and I connect might be an inspiration for you too. So please share with us your favorite things to do with your spouse. We'd love to have some ideas. And again, thank you, Jesse, for joining us.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time on the Springs in the Desert podcast. God bless you.
Thank you so much for joining us for this Springs in the Desert podcast episode. We would be so grateful if you took a minute to rate and review us so that we can reach more listeners. Don't forget to check out our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, and go to our website, springsinthedesert.org, where you can sign up for our newsletter and community prayer list, read our blog, and register for virtual and in-person events. Most importantly, remember that God loves you so much, and so do we.